Well, I've had a lot of requests recently for what I would call a red flag a video, and that is I've had dealers and buyers asking what I watch for when I have somebody just bring something in off the street, and you know, what makes me take a second look at something, and I've normally got a lot of scrap to sort through. These are some parcels that came in today. But well, the first thing you can look at is color. You know, is the color what it should be? A plated piece of brass will have a certain sheen to it. A plated piece of stainless steel will have a certain sheen to it. Other plated metals have a different a tone or sheen or glisten to them. And so that's one thing I look at right off the bat. I kind of look at that from a distance. Then the next thing is if it's just Joe Public coming in with a couple wedding bands or whatever, that he would commonly have, then if I see a file mark on an item, well, that's a big red flag. If you see a file mark on something, well, there's a good chance you want to get your asset out and give it a good back. If a kid who's 20 years old brings in a bracelet of that magnitude in 14 karat, I'm going to be wondering what's he doing with this, because this is something that someone in their 50s might commonly have as or older, as opposed to a young person having something that elaborate. Because it doesn't matter what gold price was. That's an expensive piece, and so you want to watch that, and that's as much as anything, that is a guard yourself against stolen goods type of advice. So for people just getting into this, you want to keep some crap around, and just study it, or as you're out picking, or as people bring things in, you want to educate yourself. Educate yourself through experience, deeply as possible, and compare weights. If you have a piece of, a ring that is no good, compare the weight of that ring to another ring, and then compare the weight of say a 10 karat ring to the weight of an 18 karat gold ring. Now, just recently I seen one of my buyers brought in a couple fakes, and they were they were old. They were made back at turn of the century. They could have been as old as 1880, but they were somewhere between 1880 and say 1930, because they had the very old type 18 karat stamping, which is basically a square depression with the raised 18 karat inside, and these were extremely heavy rings. And he told me, and they had been filed, and he told me that he thought they were no good, and I looked at the marking and I said, well, that would be a first. And I checked them, and yeah, sure enough, I don't think they had any gold content. And what you'll find is people will bring these in, and they will look very good because they might put them on a buffing wheel and polish it up. You can make brass look very much like gold if you give it a good buff. So that's something to look for. If you're looking at an old piece and it's way too bright and shiny looking, well, maybe somebody has buffed that. Look for things that are out of the ordinary. Look for weight problems. I would strongly recommend that, you see something, you think it's not quite right, go off on a tangent and start doing everything you can to not get burned on that item. one of my favorite is I smell it. I smell almost everything that comes in, and so because gold has no smell, and you know, if you do get a smell off of something, you've probably got a problem. Brass has a very distinctive smell, and there's no way to get away from it. And with your loop, you can look at a gold item. Let's say you get a chain in and it's marked 14 karat, but it looks like someone has worn it quite a lot. Well, you separate one of the links, and what you want to do is look in here where the wear is going to be, and you want to inspect that with your loop, because you're going to find that you know, if it's a plated item or something other than gold, you're going to have a color change in the wear spot. You'll never see a color change in the wear spot on a piece of gold, because it's the same color all the way through. You know, and that item right off the bat doesn't quite have the right color of what a gold item should be. So that would throw up a flag, and I would test that item pretty extensively. It definitely has the weight. A lot of times people ask me what to pay for diamonds. Well, diamonds for the past 10 years have just gotten more and more and more dollars a gram or something on this here. I'm going to pay them that for the diamonds. I may not pay them any extra. Now, years back, I used to pay extra for diamonds, but when you're paying for the diamonds right along with the gold weight, you know, you're going to be lucky to break even on the diamond. It was 11.8 carats of small diamonds on eBay, and they ranged anywhere from 1-pointers up to, I think the largest one was maybe a 14-point, but most of them were in that 3-point range, 3 to 5-point range, 3 to 7. And they brought $283, and there was at least 11 carats of decent small stones. That's a crazy cheap price to get out of diamonds, or to sell them for. To tell you the truth, I wish I had kept them, because I would have used them to teach people, and shoot, I could have given them away and had more satisfaction out of it. That's all the tips I got for you today. I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you again real soon.